All right, there comes an important time in a young man's life, a young bodybuilder's life, where you must shave your legs. I think everyone can remember the first time they shaved their legs. Mostly, some of us waited till competition. Some of us just did it because we wanted to see what the quads do. And I remember the first time I did it, it was like between me and my training buddies. And we're like, all right, we're all going to shave our legs. All right, we're like, you didn't want to be the only dude with bare legs, especially back then. It was even more fringe than it is today. So we agreed that we were all going to shave our legs. And next time we come in, we're going to be smooth down there. And we all did it. We all followed through. We all shaved our legs. You could definitely see things clear. So that was pretty cool. Pants felt a little funny. Everyone followed through with the exception of my one eccentric friend. And I know he tunes in. So Juan, I'm calling you out, bro. This motherfucker decides to only shave his quads. And it was such a him thing to do, right? We all have our quirks, and that was such a Juan thing to do. So he rolls into the gym looking like a Clydesdale horse, thinking there's absolutely nothing wrong. It's like, why didn't you just finish? And, in typical Juan fashion, he was like, well, I really just want to see what my quads look like. So just kind of left it there and, just ignored the rest of the trouble. Anyhow, I thought that was moderately funny. Quirky little story that I think only us in this group could fully understand and appreciate. So yeah, he ran around looking like a Clydesdale for a good freaking month until it all grew back. He might have done one quad only. I think he did one quad. I'm pretty sure he did only one quad, and he rolled up there like that with one quad shaved. So speaking of shaving, I'm not shaving, and I'm not talking about my face. I'm talking about everything else. So here comes a physique update. Full mammal and all, which on me isn't too bad, but here it goes. All right, so not bad. First one, look, I'm going to be straight with you guys. I don't even like putting posing trunks on until I am 5-6 pounds away. I hate when they're sinking into you, into the fat. But that's a me problem. I also, just in general, I love the way my physique looks. Don't get me wrong. I've always been okay with that. I've surpassed what I want to look like, and in regards to my everyday life, I almost wish I could take the suit off, leave it at home, and not be looked at. I've had old ladies poke my arms in a grocery line before. So but then there's me, the bodybuilder, and I not that I have a hard time disconnecting with long-term goals, because again, it's my preps. I plan those out super far ahead of time, right? Everything, the setup, it's something that it's a little out there, and I think almost too much for some people to think that I would dedicate that much time or plan that far ahead. However, I don't like seeing myself in bodybuilding poses and just practicing my posing and looking at the physique until it's cooked, which huge issue, right? Because it affects my posing. So this year, starting at 16 weeks out, every week I'm adding a little layer of something, in terms of I let myself be loose with my steps and my cardio this week. The sleep schedule, I'm still kind of getting that in order, and every week I'm adding more and more, progressive overload, man, until I have all these things going on and they're just habits, knee-jerk reactions, right, that sort of deal. But posing is at the 16-week mark. We're going to start with 3 sessions a week of 10 minutes. And I hate to admit this, but that's more than I've ever practiced before. And I'm just going to add to that until the point where it's 5 days a week, 10 minutes. Because posing is one of those things where you just need a little bit. You just need a little bit consistently. and like legit, it's pretty like linear, even for an experienced guy. It's like as you go through your posing, like you find more and more stuff, and there's always something to work on because you're looking different every week. So you're able to catch that and pose in a way that accommodates, highlights those new changes, right? So yeah, not perfect, man. Not perfect on my own end, but I'm really gonna do my best to get better during this contest prep. All right, this is what I look like. The time has come for the big reveal. About 5 weeks into dieting, 19 weeks out. I just completed my first week. These are the weigh-ins. I think I got that right. They will be over here. So you will see not a whole lot of action will be taken based off week to week weight loss trends. That's how it should be, because when you start a prep, at a certain point, you do want to favor a good positioning, a good starting point. So I don't have to chase anything. I can let it kind of sort of come to me. Nice place to be. Lighting, again, camera between the light source and myself, windowsill works really well. I do think this is going to be where we take our progress pictures from now on. But yeah, this lighting doesn't really make you look fantastic. But here's the thing, is like if a line is kind of there, it's 100% there. There will be no surprises. No one will tell you come show day, like, hey, your updates looked a little different. So yeah, it's what I like to call non-yes man lighting. Anterior delt press. The rest of this is just gonna be kind of a mild training dump. Some points to go over. I just lowered this the incline by 1 notch. This is supposed to be where I'm at. And again, I was saying that, hey, your vertical presses don't have to be like 100% vertical. There kind of is a spectrum there. Still for me, I was just like, oh, I need lower. It just feels naughtier. But that's what we're gonna go with. Felt amazing, and I can't wait to load that one up. It's made overhead pressing fun for the first time, like in years for myself, over a decade since I've consistently overhead pressed. Long head tricep extensions. My elbow can be a tad bit higher, maybe a little bit more forward, so it's in the mid-scap plane a bit more. A lot of good stuff seems to happen in the mid-scap plane, but you can't really tell from that angle, but I'm like about right here. Like, I can probably be like right here, and that'd be perfect. Functional trainer has been amazing. I look forward to using it, and but I'm not going to program more because people are catching on. This thing is a pretty good piece of equipment. The struggle there, especially when you go close to failure, it's like the dismount. I haven't figured that out quite yet. Hip hinging. So I had a talk with the God Papi. Jeff was telling me that, hey, maybe you ain't got to chase loads too much unless it's just like obnoxiously there, right? So I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess this is pretty decent weight. Definitely plenty of stimulus to keep what I do have back there. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna kind of sort of not necessarily go through the motions, but like just retrace a lot of my work and just make it better and better and better. And I think if there is something I can work on a bit more, yeah, I'd like them all to look the same. I think my timing can be a little bit different from rep to rep. I'm much better at good mornings compared to the RDL, but I wanted to master this movement. It was more of just a me thing. And honestly, recovery-wise, this is a lot less than like actually loading yourself. So less fatigue overall. So yeah, I'm just gonna master the crap out of this weight, this movement, and who knows? Like I might increase load at least maybe the first like half of the prep, but it's gonna have to be like I'm gonna have to be pleased with like how I handle like it needs to be perfect basically. Because already like I see this and I'm like, man, like there's just enough difference between each rep where it does kind of it bugs me. But again, not bad. This is the first time in a long time that I've been able to, I guess, RDL consistently without any SI joint pain, but also with just technique that I'm like, God, that's passing grade technique. See, for years I was pulling off the floor, so it's just very different habits. Like here you try to you like definitely try to be, how would I say, you take the scenic route with your movement, right? Whereas like when you are pulling off the floor, like for, I guess, almost powerlifting purposes, whether it's conventional or sumo, you're trying to be as efficient and like try to take like the straightest road from point A to point B. So this is different, and like one of my cues for me, especially on the way up, where I can like really use my quads if I'm not careful, is like I try to loop the bar away. Obviously, you know, you can't, but what it does do is it prevents me from maybe bringing it closer and then like really driving my feet into the ground. That and focusing on keeping the weight on the inside of my heels the whole time really helps with like my proprioception with my hips. Obviously, doing something with my feet helps my hips. That just helps me. I'm not saying, hey, you should try this. It's just what helps me, and so far it seems to be working. This is my glute dominant leg press. Again, I think for a lot of folks, it's like, do you really need to like variations of leg pressing? But here's the thing, I think people would be sweating me a lot less if I had like a high bar squat day and a low bar squat day. So think of it like that way. It's just that I don't have to hold the bar up here, which is really nice. With this one here, same thing, man. Like I think part of it is just still breaking tradition in some ways. Is what I mean by breaking tradition is like, leg press should be a leg press. Should it really be for your butt? So I had a hard time like bringing my feet up as high. It's just a mental thing for me. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm just one of those like folks who just, they position themselves on the leg press not in a way where, and they're pursuing quads too, where like they're giving their quads the most stimulus possible, but just more so to move as much weight as possible. Like I literally felt like one of them dudes. But again, I know my reasoning behind it, and having my feet right there keeps my shins vertical, and boy, does it do a number on your hips. So this is what the more quad dominant variation of my leg press looks like. So I get my heels on, I'm on a 25-pound plate, and yeah, look at the shin angle. There's a difference there, right? I'm not all the way happy with these. We'll see. I think we can maybe find just a tiny bit more range of motion. We'll see. So I think I might stay here, not up the load for a minute, and just really, some of these are good. Some of these are acceptable. And that was the final rep. So yeah, this is my more quad dominant lower body day. So I have those, and I have these right here. These only two sets. I think for me mentally, especially with some sort of unilateral squat pattern, this is as much as I can like muster. Especially, I know once I get deeper into the diet, these just, you know how it goes, man. You've done them at some point. First of all, they remind me of like lockdown, when like the majority of us, this was like, it's one of the few movements you could do that was, I guess, rival the amount of stimulus that we could, get at a gym. But boy, are they just something else, not for the weak-hearted. So 2 sets. So it's gonna be that leg press and then this, and those are like my my squat patterns, my quad dominant squat patterns. They're fun. Those prime elevated heels, platforms. Anyhow, they're great because I don't have to use as much load in order to get what I want out of the movement, which makes it a little bit less, I guess, gut wrenching. Here is a movement that, man, like I love, but at the same time makes me a little nervous, especially now that we've decided to throw the partials back in there. Seated hamstring machine. This is the Ham Tractor. If you haven't used that model before, it's amazing. It's just, mine is really light. I'm actually just like almost there, like doing the whole stack on these. So the full ROM, till I can't do anymore. So RPE 10 on the full arm, then we do those partials. I think I got about 4. I don't extend my knee the whole way so that the soleus isn't butting in. You guys ever feel that, like that stretch in the calf when you guys are doing hamstring curls? You can kind of just remedy this by just slightly having soft knees. And for me, it's like right around here. It's pretty obvious, but for most people, it's going to be about 15 degrees. Then we have these leg extensions. Okay, it's not too bad. Some of these reps, I think you'll see here at the end, is I viewed this footage once before, and I don't think I'm locking out the whole way. I have the load here so that distributed the strength curve so that it's really heavy at the top, and then the beginning portion is kind of almost free. So I'm trying to like sneak into position, and once I feel it getting heavy, then we turn it on. So it's important that I don't just catapult out of the bottom, because that inertia that I come with around that bend is going to take away from what I'm actually trying to target here, which is the end range of this pattern. Because remember, all the stretchy stuff for the quads we got done earlier. We just want that last bit, and especially in a way that it targets the rec fem. So my last set, I do 2 sets of those leg extensions. After my last set, I'll do this right here if it's available. Sometimes it's not, so I'll have to do like body weight sissy squats. But today it was, so I got to do them here, which is a little harder in that you can go harder, because compared to sissies, you're just more stabilized, and it's a great rect. It's pretty much wrecked after this fem finisher. Yeah, it looks gnarly. I'll always hear comments like, I could never do that. Like, and it's like, well, folks, I ain't doing this fresh. Like, like it's not like just from around the gym. They're like, man, I'd break. And I'm like, yeah, if I did this fresh, I'd probably break. And good thing I only have to do so many, because at this point I am pretty done. Yeah, a few things here with my incline press. We're doing some I guess we're going back and fixing things. Ain't that always the case? More than anything, I had a little bit too much arch. That was bugging me. So, you don't need a whole lot of this on an incline. You kind of want to be the shape of the bench. This one was much better. Really like this one. And yeah, not bad. I thought this was a legit like 95-pound dumbbells for an RPE 10. 10 reps, I believe, is what it was. But looking at it, I had quite a few in the tank. So yeah, that's the main thing here. And you're always going to fix things, and I don't think we should be discouraged. Because again, your main objective as a bodybuilder is, yes, load is a great way to have an idea of how much tension you're supplying to an area. But at the same time, like, sometimes you upload, sometimes you add reps, sometimes you go back and you're like, there's something I can change here so that I can get slightly better stimulus. So that's what I'm taking it as. And then we'll just keep climbing the loads. And again, nothing wrong with like going back and having an aha moment. Lat dominant row here, and lats were fried this week. It's been a hard week for the lats. And one of the reasons that I will be will be disclosed here, refeeding, is just that, man, like this training week was very difficult. A lot of it's just me rewiring my sleep schedule for the sake of prep, for the better. But that's been just, that'll bug you. Yeah, this incline clavicular head focus press around. There we go, not bad. I have to find a more frugal way of getting into position, especially once I really load this. I might have to bring a bench. We might have to try that next week. But yeah, this is the strong side. I always start with the weak side, and then the right side just kind of, which generally is the right side is usually for me the strong side. Just traces over the work that the weak side did. And you can tell my reps are just a little bit crispier on this side. I like the stroke more on this side. But hey, so far so good. Training has been fun because I can still be mildly assertive, and go after things here and there. I think I have about 10 more weeks of this. Yeah, about 10 more weeks of this. So upper back dominant pull down, which honestly is almost just, it's I guess how the bros would often do their pull down. The less aware bros, because a lot of the bros know what they're doing. But those prime handles are wonderful. But yeah, look, training feels amazing right now. It's at a place where I can still be assertive, still have fun with it, and I look forward to it being that way a little longer. Quick run through of the plan. Training is going to stay the same, 5 days a week. How those days break down, it's going to be Monday's going to be my arms and shoulder day. Tuesday's going to be hamstrings, glutes, a little bit of quad in there, so it's a lower body but more dominated by the posterior chain. That's going to be the main focus on that day. And then we're going to have I called it a back and chest, but then someone called me out like in one of these videos, and they were like, well, it's more of an upper day because you throw in a little arms and a little lateral raises, two sets for each area. So yes, I guess it's upper day 1 with a focus on back and chest. And then it's going to be my lower body quad dominant day. And then we have upper body day 2, I guess, right? So yeah, I guess shoulders, arms, lower body posterior chain dominant, upper body day 1, lower body quad dominant, and then upper body day 2. The macros, somewhere between 60 to 70 grams of fat, 350 to 400 carbs, 190 to 210 protein. That's what I've decided on. 5,000 steps a day, and then 3 cardio sessions at 20 minutes a pop. Did well in regards to the eating. Obviously the training my first week, but I got to get on it with the steps and with the cardio. I probably got 70% of that done. But in my defense, it's at a certain point you could just kind of feel how something's working, and just the nutritional intervention alone, I'm like, this is like a good little deficit. I'm definitely using stored energy as fuel. So yeah, we got about 70% of that done. But this upcoming week, keep the nutrition intact, get my cardio sessions in, make sure I get those steps in, and I think we'll see some pretty good changes for 2 weeks. Some pretty good changes compared to where I started and where I will be. I think it'll be good. Not too fast, because remember I have till September, but enough where I'm like, I can make a living off like this set intake and cardio plan for a good chunk of time. So that's it. This is the first one, guys. To many more of these. So we'll be doing this till November. So I need all the help I can get from y'all in regards to and then hopefully is I keep posting these up. They just get better, and I am better able to capture all the good parts of prep, all the bad parts of prep. But as of this week, that's all I got for you. One of those no news is good news kind of deal. That drama should pick up as time goes on.